Uh, Good afternoon, and welcome to this week's By the Dice. So before we get started, we have a few announcements. First of all, we'd all like to welcome a new player to our table, David Gregory.
Welcome!
Welcome. Hi, everybody.
Now, moving on to some more stuff. Our merch shop is up, and links will be posted in the description after we broadcast today. We stayed up putting up some final information on the graphics to include the new graphic on the channel. Also, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Feel free to ask questions and comments. And if you like what we're doing, let us know. I think everyone would love to reply, and thank you for your support. Any other than that,
yeah.
does anyone else have any other announcements?
Yeah, a big shout out to Chaos Costumes for the very cool antlers that I'm wearing on my head. The ears, of course, came from Wish.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored, but shout out to our friend Skell for the recommend on the costume place. And to all the people who liked and subscribed last week, thank you so much for joining us. We're really glad to have you, and we hope to give you guys a great game.
Okay, Anaya, do you have anything?
I do not currently have any new announcements.
Chris, anything new?
I am good.
Alright, then with that, let's...
Wait, yeah,
Chris, do you have anything that you'd like to say before we get
The
started?
mask that I'm currently wearing, whenever you guys actually see it, it's kind of a modification / creation that I did.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, we've got, with that, let's continue with our expedition. I can't talk tonight. This is going to be great. Into the Evermists. So, last time when we left everybody off, you all had just barely scraped out of a pretty heinous fight, and two of you were left pretty heavily wounded and you were getting ready, and Veridia had created kind of a little earthen nest for you all to shelter in for the evening and lick your wounds, heal, and regroup. After bedding down for the evening, you had a relatively safe night. There really wasn't much else in the area for the evening. And early around, we'd say, right around 5:30 in the morning, so right as the sun's just barely starting to warm up, a thick dew creeps in, and with it comes kind of a waking chill. It's just enough to make you shiver awake and want to go find a way to be warm. As each of you is waking up, we'll just start over here with you, Veridia. How does your morning look as you're waking up, feeling rested, refreshed, and having been able to take the time to heal yourself in the evening?
Well, I come to from my meditations very early, just before the sun rises with the dawn winds, and I get up and I stretch and put on my robes, and my normal habit is to take a walk into nature and just commune with the earth, how she's feeling and what she's doing, and then I usually find a spot to sit and I start drawing some little piece of lichen that's caught my eye, just sketching in my sketchbook, enjoying the so I'm not far from the camp, but I'm actually not right in the camp that I had created. I went for a small walk in the morning.
Okay. And Coloura?
Coloura would have gotten up about the moment the dawn broke, and continued working on the absurd amount of wolf jerky that they are proudly in possession of on their way to the next town.
Okay. How about you, Alabaster?
5 more minutes. 5 more minutes.
5 more minutes.
Rolls over and just kind of pulls a blanket over him. 5 more minutes.
As the morning starts warming up, you head back, Veridia, and I need you to roll a perception check as you start moving past the horses. Passive, so not with your perception skill bonus.
So I can actually use the tray.
Right?
Just a thought.
It's a little bit helpful.
Oh, well, freaky fact. I rolled a 3. My passive perception is a 13. I think.
Yeah, so that would give you... Alright, with what you would see at a 4, what's your nature skill? Or what's your skill in nature? Your bonus to nature?
Oh. Well, now that is a +4.
Okay, that'll work. So, with what you could see and notice just from your normal of what you know of the area, now having a clear look and no blood in your eyes, so literally and figuratively, you notice that there's a slightly off, as you're walking past the horse, you just kind of reach out and where the fur from the dire wolf pelts that you draped over them is, it feels a little more coarse, like dried out.
Brittle.
A little bit brittle, yeah.
I reach over and I kind of pet a nearby fern.
It feels perfectly normal.
Perfectly normal.
Yep, it's a fern.
Fern. Okay.
It's
Okay.
and as you walk in, you see Coloura just kind of working on pulling it jerky, and you can't quite put your finger on it, but something seems off about the whole image, and it's very obvious that Alabaster likes to sleep in, because every few moments whenever Coloura makes a loud noise or a bone snaps or any of those interesting sounds, you hear him go, 5 more minutes. And your morning continues this way while you sit there for going on. Now, it's been about an hour or so of this with you taking the time to draw and then working on jerky. We'll fast forward that and not drag it out. Round about the time that the first rays of sunlight would have been coming in, so right about the time that Veridia would have been going out to find her place to sit and draw,
Okay.
you find yourself catching a mild smell of fire on the wind from where you've made yourself a comfortable place to sleep up a tree the night before. Just, you'd heard wolves in the hillside, and, well, from what you've grown up with, you definitely would know that there were definitely wolves. You also could swear you heard like echoing off of the, because you're in a very deep valley.
Okay.
Right at the mist line.
Alright.
So you could hear what sounded like magic and things like that right about dusk the night before, and just climbed yourself up the tree for, posterity's sake.
Okay.
This morning, because of where you are, you can vaguely catch what smells like a morning cook fire just up the road and possibly around a bend. You've got some dry rations and everything, but it's been about a week or so since the last time you really stopped to talk to anybody.
Alright.
And you're just kind of, you'd probably be starting to feel that, humans would be, or another entity to talk, somebody else to talk to would be nice.
Okay.
But, so, up your tree, feeling that first bit of morning dew and smelling a fire, like a morning cook fire going, what do you do?
I would have to say I would want to jump down and scout ahead just to make sure, it's safe. So kind of like, I guess, sneak up towards the area where I'm smelling the scent to try and figure out exactly what it is I'm smelling and exactly what's going on.
Alright, so... First of all, I need you to make a roll pick either athletics or acrobatics, whichever one's going to give you the higher bonus. It'll be on your character sheet. I need you to roll a d20. Actually, I need you to make an athletics check because you're jumping out of a tree wearing scale mail. Yeah. I just want to make sure that you're able to catch it.
Alright, so...
Would he be within earshot?
I don't know yet.
Well, my athletics are a +1, so I would have to use a d20, you said?
Yep.
I'm pretty sure this is it.
Yep.
It is a 17 plus the 1, so I got 18.
Oh yeah, so as you jump down, you're feeling kind of like limber this morning apparently because it was about a 20-foot drop out the tree, and sure, you're a tabaxi, you all are used to going up cliff sides for crying out loud, but yeah, you're feeling like a little bit like those last kinks from the bandits you'd had to help out the last merchant group you ran across with. Those final kinks are just finally out of your neck from getting hit with the club type deal, so it's like back to normal, and I'm feeling good about who that
Feeling
was.
refreshed.
Unless you were within, like, you would have seen him drop out of the tree, you couldn't have heard shit. Just to be clear.
Because I was looking for a perception check.
No. No, moving up the road and keeping relatively quiet, after a little while you can see what looks like a built-up mound of twigs and earth that has a small plume of smoke coming out of the middle of it. Looks like it's a completely closed off circle, or did you leave an entrance? Liz?
No, I did not leave an entrance.
So this is complete, it's like, it almost looks like the bottom end of a paper wasp hive done in earth and twigs.
Okay.
Big enough to make a, like, small one-bedroom cabin.
Okay.
Doesn't appear to have any doors. And I need you to roll a stealth check. That one comes at disadvantage. It's 2d20 plus whatever your stealth modifier is. Take the lowest score on the d20s.
Alright. First one was a 12, second one's a 14, so
12
14.
plus 12 plus your stealth bonus then, because it's disadvantage versus
Alright.
advantage.
My stealth bonus is a 4.
So 4 and 12 is 16. Alright, yeah, you're good. Actually, now I want the three of you to roll a perception check, because you are wearing scale mail. No matter how quiet you try to be in a metal armor, you and I both know.
Oh yeah.
I'm hyper-focused, apparently. I'm not perceiving anything but jerky.
What'd you roll?
A 7 with a +5 for being
So 12.
Yeah, no.
proficient.
No, 7 including the +5.
That's what I'm saying, 12.
No, it was 2 plus 5 for 7.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Oh.
7
wow.
including the +5.
I'm proficient in
Yeah.
perception, and I rolled a 7 total.
Yeah, that is definitely all about that jerky.
Yeah, and perception, I don't think I've got any bonuses. Oh, I do have a bonus, so no, that's persuasion. Perception, I don't have any bonuses. 17.
What was your roll?
It's an art.
Mine was a
It
16.
helped me
Okay,
hyper-focus.
Liz?
15 plus 5 is 20.
Alright, so you don't hear anything.
Nope.
And I'm going to start with the lowest roll out of the two of you. They had to meet or beat your roll in order to be able to hear you, is how this works.
Okay.
You're oblivious to all this, so please, if you want to, and it'll help cover yours, if not, okay.
I don't know.
Okay, so you could almost swear you heard what sounded like metal. Like, it's a very familiar sound to you.
I was gonna say, I
Um,
have scale mail, so it'd be
Yeah,
very familiar.
it's a very, very familiar metal sound that seems to have come from somewhere outside of the shelter that Veridia made you all last night. You can't tell the direction, but you did just barely catch, and you're not even sure how far away.
And I'm still technically half asleep.
Yeah.
Because I haven't even woken
So
up from that extra
You
hour.
heard it. You definitely. It's enough to make you pause and go, "Wait, I know that sound, and I'm not wearing my armor yet." Unless you got up and put armor on.
No, I'm still, like, I heard it in my sleep. That's why I
Yeah, you're
didn't
like-
sleep it as well. Like, I heard it and I'm like, I know that sound. I'm not up yet. What's going on?
Yeah. So, okay, cool. That works out perfectly. Liz, or Miss Veridia, guess you rolled a dirty 20, right?
I did.
Well, you're pretty sure that that sound came from maybe 40 yards or 40 feet in some generalized direction from where you came from. So, from behind where your cart was, it's like you've got maybe a 60-degree pie wedge you could narrow down that area of where they are.
Okay. But I definitely heard something.
Yes, and you recognized it most definitely as the sound of a sword blade tapping against scale mail and scraping lightly in its bandolier. And it was light enough that it was the sound on. Not to discount your roll, you rolled well. They just beat it, and not
Right.
easily. So, what are you doing as you hear this?
I reach over and then I go over there and I draw my bow and I just kind of take a stance scanning that pie area.
That it's kind of directed towards the road, but they're a little bit off, and you could just definitely see what this was.
I get up, and at this point, I get up and I grab my light crossbow because I'm still in whatever I was sleeping in at this point, whether it be my underwear, my skivvy, whatever.
We'd say like explorers type clothing, so
Your tunic?
tunic, pair of pants,
So
probably
I'm-
a belt to keep them up.
But I'm in my pajamas, let's just say that. And I grab my light crossbow and I get next to her and I'm like, you heard that, right?
Yeah, I did. That was scary for sure.
Yeah, and I'm not in my armor yet.
I noticed.
Just over and grabs their whip like. And resumes salting meat.
Just grab the whip and resume salting meat.
You notice
can
where you were
solve it
hearing a
quickly.
little bit of sound on the other side. Everything on the inside of this structure goes quiet.
Okay.
So, what are you doing at this point as you hear everything go quiet inside of this?
If I'm hearing everything go quiet, by nature, I'm automatically curious. But because of past, I kind of want to be cautious as well. So I want to say I'm going to move a little closer, but I'm going to try to be more quiet as I move closer to...
So, would you like to make another stealth roll and see if you do a little
Yes,
better?
I would like to make another
Okay,
stealth.
go for it.
2d20?
2d20 take the lowest because you have disadvantage in your current armor. That bounced off. Roll that again.
15
Cool.
and 13.
So,
So
What's your-
17. 17 with my lowest.
Okay, 17 with your lowest.
yeah.
You're
Can you see what? Oh yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
so you actually managed to get yourself pretty much right up to this, and it's kind of a sloping structure.
Okay.
Almost looks, like I said, like the bottom of a paper wasp's nest where it bulges out that really big.
Yeah.
It was buried in the mud, just big enough for humanoid-sized creatures to live in.
Okay.
It has no doors still, and you've managed to get up to the wall, and yeah, you're very sure it has no doors. And I need everybody else to make their active perception roll at this point, because
that would be a 24. I'm listening now.
Yeah, active. Apparently, I stopped perceiving anything. I'm hyper focused on where I thought he was because that was a straight up 2 with no bonuses.
Okay, so you're kind of like
I heard something. Where'd he
the
go?
sound went away. Yeah,
Where'd he go? Where'd he go?
So
Where'd he go?
he lost track of you, and
Okay.
you.
8.
Okay, so neither of you anymore have any idea. It's like they disappeared. You're absolutely certain they're on the other side of the wall, maybe 5 feet to the, like if you were going at an angle, it would be like maybe 11 o'clock in front of Veridia against the wall.
Okay.
They beat you by 7. The other 2 are oblivious as to where you are, though, so basically there's only one person who knows where you are in the building.
How structurally sound is the wall?
I don't know. Didn't you crit that one?
Like if I were to hit it with my head, how sound would it be?
How structurally sound did you make that shelter when you did the mauled earth?
It wasn't designed to stop a bear attack, but it was designed to keep like a boar or a disinterested, wildcat out. Would keep the deer out. Probably would not withstand a full-on bear attack or anybody directly attacking. It wasn't super sturdy. It was more for
Okay.
disguise and to kind of create a safe harbor than
So if I
an
hit it with
actual
my head, it would
fortress.
live.
Maybe.
Maybe a couple of times.
I've not
How about
hit it
this?
once.
It's about that thick.
How about this? I noticed that she kind of is fixated on one location. Where is he? And so she points out that he's there. So I holler out, "Who are you? What are you doing here?"
Answer them.
My name is Wisp. I'm wandering, looking for somebody to talk with or to be part of a group.
And you chose us. Why?
I saw a building, heard sounds.
1 minute. What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, it would be inhospitable to not share our fire.
Yeah, we can invite him in and kind of get more information.
Just one.
My whip moves fast.
Yeah, there's just one. Right?
Enter.
I will use Druidcraft to create a small opening in the hedgeway.
Okay, so as you, like where you were leaning against the wall, a few minutes later starts, or a few seconds of whispered discussion that you don't really pick up much on, starts moving, and how are you 3 arranged as the wall is, as Veridia, how are the 2 of you arranged as Veridia has to actually be standing close enough to part the wall to open it? So the first person you would see would be our antlered wood elf.
I hurry over back to my area and I get dressed real quick.
So you go move to get dressed and get on. You're going to
Yeah.
take your action to a full action to don your armor.
Yes.
I'm holding my whip and continuing to salt meat because now I'm a little less interested.
Okay, so you're over at you go back to what you were doing and you wander off.
I'm in the cart.
I walk forward and
What does he see?
stepping towards you with a warm and genuine smile, a hand extended, you see a small bronzy wood elf. Her hair's kind of all unkempt. She's wearing the robes and armor of a circle of shepherds druid, and so she's got some furs on, and the armor looks fairly new, like brand new.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that it's got a few fairly deep wolf scratches across the breastplate.
Okay.
And she's got bright green eyes. And she walks towards you and she says, "Hello, my name's Veridia. Come share our fire." And I bring you closer and kind of motion you to a stump to sit on.
Okay.
So, as you walk in, how does your gaze start as you take in what's around you? To the left or the right?
I would typically go from right to left.
Okay, so because of the way that you all had arranged yourself, you're off to the right where the carts are.
I'm on the cart.
Okay, so as your eyes scan, the first person you come to, well, what do you look like as you're donning your, well, at this point you'd be just finishing putting your armor on. What do you look like?
So I am about 5 feet tall, 200 pounds, pale gray skin, green eyes, with black hair.
Okay. Are you like lizard or?
I am a changeling.
Okay. Okay.
So right now, I'm gonna be on. As a changeling, I can change my appearance at will.
Okay.
So this is what you see right now.
Okay, right
Okay.
now what you see is what he was born looking like, which is a grayish pale skin and kind of nondescript, really.
Okay.
About 5'8", 200 pounds, green and silver, or green and silver and gold, kind of scale mail armor, kind of like different color scales woven together, kind of like what you have.
Okay.
And big giant great sword on my hip, light crossbow across my back,
All right.
and just very, very poised, very rugged at the same time because I'm a farmer, but I also run the business side of my farm, so I carry myself professionally.
Okay.
And so that's what you see, and the name's Alabaster.
Okay.
And as you scan past Alabaster and you look up a little bit, you see, what does he see at the top of the cart, sitting probably on the, I would picture almost on the back of the cart, but on the back one of the runners where you could reach down in and grab things.
Yep. Sitting just like that, with bits of meat up on one of the runners. You see a very large eagle-shaped bird.
Okay.
But humanoid in a weird kind of way.
Okay.
Coloura, I am about just barely getting to 6 feet tall.
Okay.
And my feathers are, you can kind of tell that the white of my head was very white at one point, but it's now this gray, muted, ashy tone, and that ashy tone follows through all of the brown feathers on my body.
Okay.
Some of them are even stained black with ash.
Okay.
It's a permanent thing. You can tell I'm clean, but I just look like I've seen one too many fires.
All right.
And I am just kind of hunched over, pulling salt out of a bag and layering it on top of some meat.
Okay.
Pulling jerky.
And what do they see? Now, as you step through and you're done taking everything in, what do they see as they look at you?
So me, I would have to say I would be I'm a tabaxi, so I'm a roughly a almost 7 foot tall, 230 pounds, very athletic build, black cat with a bluish hue, almost like stripes in his fur. I would be wearing, two bracers. I would be wearing my scale mail, which my scale mail would also be black, but be more of a matte black instead of a glossy black. I would be wearing boots, traditionally, like just standard boots, leather boots, with the toes cut out. So that way, if I have to use my feet, I can for climbing.
Nice.
And on top of my head, you would notice that there's this, like, blood-stained skull that I wear on top of my head. But it's of another cat skull.
Okay.
Roughly about the same size as, it's just, Yeah, it looks like another tabaxi's skull. Slightly bigger, so it would fit almost as a headpiece.
So do you want us to roll for initiative?
There's no initiative whatsoever. You guys are free to talk amongst yourselves, introduce.
So
It's breakfast
you
time.
noticed us and just decided to show up? Or
No. I smelled fire and ember in the distance, heard noises, and thought that I heard voices. So I chose to investigate. My race, it's very easy for us to become extremely curious and want to investigate, want to search, want to find out things.
okay. And you didn't think it'd be weird that you could possibly be outnumbered with some sketchy people you don't know?
No.
Like,
No,
you're
I
lucky
like
I
him.
called out because I know some people that were ready to jump on you.
Okay.
They were ready. I was ready.
Finishes fastening the loop on my whip to put it away.
At random at this point, I'm going to ask if I can have a piece of jerky.
Pulls out some of what I'd finished the night before that should have been decently cured,
Yeah.
and tosses it.
I take the jerky and I
That's
respond.
direwolf.
I take the jerky and I respond again with, not worried.
Okay. Well, I'm guessing you probably heard our commotion here last night.
I heard something in the distance.
Well, where do you
Yeah,
think
sure.
where do you think that meat came from?
It's good meat.
It's fresh.
It's good.
Have you tasted it yet?
Yeah.
Roll a perception check.
With which die?
D20.
D20. Yeah, most things are done on a D20.
Oh.
And then perception's under wisdom.
Okay. 7.
7. Cool. Alright, so that brings us back around Veridia. Anything? What are you doing at this point? Is they've entered and are now chewing on your jerky and being picked on by.
I'm using my skills as a druid to brew some. It's actually a mushroom tea, but it's for health and longevity and long life. I do put quite a bit of honey in it. It's fairly tasty tea actually. And I also take the opportunity to just whip up some basic biscuits.
So basic trail ration type breakfast
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
breakfast or meal.
Pass that out to everybody. It's gonna stay cold up here for several more miles. So we wanna make sure to warm up before we head out.
Drink the tea and eat the biscuit.
So did you have any missions or plans? Where are you headed?
Usually I just, find people who are in need of assistance or protection and make coin that way.
Well, I don't know that we have particular need of a guard, but you are welcome to join us. We are headed to
We are on a trade route. I am a farmer and agriculturist from the Feywild. I have some goods that are specific only to my region.
Okay.
yes,
And I am expanding beyond the town that
number one
borders
source
us.
of Feywild sugar right here.
Yeah, where we are from, there's a portal between the Feywild and your realm that we could easily pass through at will. And so I have created a trade with this town on the other side of this portal. And now I'm expanding beyond that town.
And my circle
It's a
is
good thing I'm not-
taking the
That's a lot of information.
Roll a D20. Oh, nobody ever said that you still can't steal from each other.
No, I'm just saying, it's a good thing I'm not a thief. That's a lot
yeah.
of
There was
information.
Are you
A
saying
lot of information there, Alabaster.
Okay, so what am I rolling for?
that's Arcana, so whatever it says next to Arcana, add it to that.
I got an 18
you rolled.
and 19.
Okay, so from where the region of the world that you're from, because you've been on the road for at least a little while, everywhere that you've ever heard of, these people have got to be crazy. Because if you go through a portal into the Feywild, there's a very high chance that a lot more time or a lot less time than you were expecting passed between the time you enter the portal and the next time you come back to the material plane.
Okay.
So it could be you come back and it's yesterday, you come back and it's 6 months ago, or you come back and it's 500 years later, are all possibilities.
Okay.
This is what you as a character would know off the top of your head because of your own background.
Okay.
They can, and so you're pretty sure that these people are all, like, from your own personal insight, that would seem like something that you're pretty sure that these people are quite out of their tree to some degree at that point.
Okay.
But they all seem to be about your age and pretty, like, there's no odd dialect to the way that they speak or anything like that. So something seems like might be different around here.
Alright.
Beyond that, and still looking around the area that you're in,
How far outside the town did we make it before we ran into those dire wolves?
About 10 miles, I think.
you made it about 5.5, 6 miles outside of town.
Okay.
So, I mean, 3 miles a day, even if I give you a downhill bonus because you're going down into the valley to the next town. Even with that and the horses being able to move a little bit faster, they'd still have to be able to keep control of the cart. You're on the sidewall of a valley, for crying out loud.
Right. So at least a 2 days hike.
Yeah.
Okay.
A 2-day hike back, definitely, but
Yeah.
you've got maybe about another day and a half to get to the next town, if at your recollection.
Okay.
Day and a half. Didn't we finish just finished day 1 of
Yeah.
8?
I redid the math thinking about distance and
Okay.
slope.
Okay, that makes sense because I took notes.
Yes, you would be correct. I redid some math because I was thinking about physics.
Real world scenarios.
Yeah, and so your horses are actually in relatively good shape, and as you're looking around, you notice there are 2 dire wolf pelts that are hanging off the back, and and something, that strange whisper
Okay.
that you hear every now and then. You hear the horses. That's all you hear in the back of your head is the horses, and then an almost echo.
Alright.
What are you doing?
I guess I would, out of curiosity at that point, I would automatically try to investigate what he was talking about. So I go over closer to the horses to try and get a closer look to see what's going on.
You watch them just move towards your horses and start, like, inspecting and looking over everything. At the same time, you all get this weird chill up your spines.
And that's when I pull my great sword and point it at him and ask him what he's doing. Because I'm getting a weird vibe.
I actually put my hand out to. No, there was something weird about the horses earlier today, too. Something about those direwolf skins. You might be onto something. And I walked back towards the horses like I did this morning to check them out again.
Okay. I need you to make a nature check.
Eight.
I'll give. You can roll this with advantage.
Oh, thank God.
And don't forget to add your nature bonus to it.
That was with my nature
Oh,
bonus.
Jesus.
Ooh.
13.
Better. Okay, we can work with that. Um, so, as you go back and take a closer look, how much time do you want to take on examining these?
Actually, as I'd be willing to dedicate some time to it, there's 2 horses, it's like a 10-15 minutes. I want to inspect both the skin and the horses. Something's wrong here, and I noticed it kind of earlier. I couldn't put my finger on it then, but I wasn't really thinking about it. Now that something else is alerted on it, I also want
You watch
to...
them very meticulously going over these hides. And you're welcome to make, you both are also welcome to make a nature check if you like. Whether or not you have a bonus, you might still roll high. Just saying.
Can I make an Arcana check
Yes.
towards the horses?
Yeah.
That's a solid 9.
Mine's a 14 with no bonuses.
For nature?
Yeah.
Alright. So, as you all are looking at this, with your 9, you can absolutely be certain that none of what is going on is directly magical or has anything to do with the arcane from what you can tell.
Okay.
But you might have, but you are pretty sure something's off and you definitely missed something. But then again, you're also thinking about the condition you were in while you were unzipping that wolf from its suit.
I was pretty badly beat.
Yeah.
I mean, those wolf pelts are absolutely spattered with my blood. Soaked and stained.
Alright.
I was bleeding really heavily while I was cleaning them.
No, they'd actually staunched your bleeding by then and actually
Okay.
got you. But when they stabilized you and bring you back, you're not bleeding anymore.
I was gonna say that was happened when you got your 1 hit point back.
Yeah.
I feel like at 1 hit point I'd still be
Now-
bleeding.
Yeah, I'm bleeding a little bit, but there wouldn't be blood soaked so much as I agree with the 9. There's probably some blood on them. That's
Yeah.
As you all are inspecting and going over these, when your hands go across the fur, it feels coarse. You grew up being taught by we talked about that. So from where, you're from, do you keep livestock on your farm?
Some, yes. For like
certain
certain cheeses and milks and
Okay,
stuff
then you
like that.
definitely, I could work with that. As far as in your travels, have you ever had to help with keeping livestock or anything like that?
Oh, absolutely.
It feels like it wasn't just that they were slick with your blood, but they were sick. The fur's brittle, the skin seems like dried out, ashy beneath the fur a little bit. They're still nice quality pelts. The meat looks a little tinged. The color is a slightly more pink.
And this is the livestock?
No, this is the wolf meat
Yeah.
that the jerky's being made out of.
Okay.
As you all are taking more, it doesn't actually affect your stomach or anything like that. I'll be honest,
But
it's not
there's-
going to make you sick.
But there's
Okay.
something off about it.
Yeah, but as you're chewing on the piece, you're noticing that there's kind of a little bit of a sour in the background.
Like a little tinge.
Yeah, a twang to it.
Okay.
Like it was fermenting at the same time almost.
Okay.
And yeah, you would all notice that there's a little bit of an almost fermented smell to the fur itself.
That seems strange. We just skinned these last night.
Yeah, I got all the meat salted before we went to bed.
They shouldn't smell like this.
Yeah, I wonder if they had some kind of an autoimmune disease or something that we don't know about.
I'm not proficient at it, but can I do a medicine check?
I'm
had to
not
patch
proficient
myself
at
in-
it either, but can I do an investigation check?
Yes and yes. Just remind me which thing you were checking when you go.
The That's another 9.
Another 9.
Yep.
That was on medicine.
Medicine, because I've had to patch myself and nurse a couple of sick animals before.
Even doing so, people would have told you what to do because you are, I mean, you're not completely brain dead stupid, but you are a little dim. What are you doing while they're obviously coming over this and inspecting it more upon you're pointing something out?
I was thinking about doing a perception check.
Alright. Any particular things you're trying to perceive?
I want to basically investigate the furs to see if there's any like decaying or any like black spots in the fur or like the flesh itself to see if it's like
You're actually going to go with
diseased or
investigation for that.
Okay.
But yes, go for it. So,
I got with the investigation. I got a 13.
okay. Alabaster, what were you doing during this?
Can I do an insight check to see if I could see if their behavior had anything to do with it, or if it's been infecting their behavior too, or if it's something.
That would actually be under nature if you're looking into that because they are a beast, they are a natural creature. It's not like an insight into a situation like you're trying to see through a lie.
Would that still work even with it being a pelt?
What nature?
Yeah,
We fought them.
If
okay.
we
So
maybe
you got kind of like a recall memory kind of thing.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, we are the reason they are dead.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said. It was very fresh meat.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll do a nature, even though don't have any bonuses. Let's see what I can do. 6.
6. Well, I can honestly tell you at a 6. When you think about it, really stop to think, because this wouldn't be the first time in your life you've seen a dire wolf.
Right.
They normally hunt in larger packs than 2. And everybody would be able to know that was there, would know that they bite a lot. Their bites normally hurt a lot more.
So they were cast out for some reason.
And you all are generally in the same area as where the fight happened, correct?
Yeah, we're just
Yes.
right next to the road
Yeah,
where it happened.
we kind of went basically right off the road a little ways, but we're right there.
So, I need you to go ahead and roll that perception check you wanted to. I'll let you know why in a second. Because you would be looking for odd things, and with things I know about your character, I can go with that.
Dirty 20.
Perfect. So, as you're looking around, you find what looks like a semi-decay, because you said you were looking for decaying things and things like that, and just kind of scanning around. Over where, the skeletal remains where the head of the dire wolves were head.
Yeah.
You notice that there's a fang. It's broken off. And it has almost like a molding fungal decay against one of the canines.
Okay.
And it's just in the dirt, maybe 10 feet ahead of you.
Alright.
But that's the one thing that you would actually notice about this.
Okay.
So where is everybody now?
I had also rolled a investigation check of 10.
10? That's right, thank you. Okay, so out of 10, you're very sure that this animal was sick. You're also very sure that whatever this was, it definitely, none of you have it.
Okay.
Either because it doesn't last that long without a living host, or you're immune for some reason. But it is definitely killing wildlife and specifically large predators.
I go ahead and I take the pelts off the horses so the horses don't run a risk of getting sick. And I bury the pelts.
Okay, so
Well, they weren't as nice as they appeared in the dark.
Well, the jerky's still good.
Jerky should be fine,
I've eaten plenty of it.
It's
but we probably shouldn't eat any more diseased wolves. Just a thought.
so
I mean, I don't know about Arakoya. I'm not going to.
and what did your roll come out to?
I already did. It was a 6 total for my nature.
You're also pretty sure, like I said, that their bites were definitely not like when you really stop to think about it, they didn't hunt like a pack. They weren't in unison. They weren't. Something was off about the whole thing. As bad as it is for your pride to admit it, you all are lucky. They should have been able to do a lot more to you.
Mm-hmm.
And anything else? Now, that being said, is there anything else anybody would like to do before we get you packed up and moving onward? Conversations that would like to be had? Where are you headed?
I can't remember the name of the place we were headed. I brought that up earlier.
I don't
Do you
think we
remember
named it.
Alabaster? The name of the town we're headed to?
I don't think we've named it yet because none of you have actually been there. You sent trade routes out.
Yeah, because I know my village is Fogmire, and then we got your village, which is Evermist.
Evermist and Mossroom, yeah.
And the Mossfern Holdings.
Yeah.
Um,
And mine's the Valley of Fogmire, and I can't remember if we named this other town yet. I don't think we did.
It's not in my notes.
okay. I'll work on that.
So we're packing up and we're gonna move on to the next town. Do you guys agree?
Yes.
Is there anything that anybody needs to talk, conversations need to be had, any of that?
Yes.
Do you want to do anything about that tooth on the ground, or are you just going to kind of leave it there?
I actually want to investigate it, possibly pick it up. Like wrap it in cloth or pack it.
Banksy makes good jerky if he's not upstanding.
Coloura? We don't talk about
They're
Coloura,
whispering
but
this,
hey.
so
Yeah.
la 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 la. Got it.
Alright.
but
So we're all agree.
Yeah,
but
we can enjoy
so
it.
as you're
Sounds
investigating it, what you
Might
find
be fun to have
is
a
that
backseat on the crew. I've never met one before today.
it's
Okay.
If you're comfortable with it, Alabaster.
I don't mind.
you're
Like I
pretty
said, you'll
sure
make
that
good
those
food.
wolves have been dead
A
for a
little
lot
off,
more
a
than
little
just
weird.
today.
Hasn't
Which would explain the fermented.
So
Okay.
There have been
Like,
strange creatures in
That
the
tooth
forest,
looks
I
like
agree.
it broke from
But
decomposition.
unless
Okay.
it causes trouble.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
So,
I mean, I
what do you
don't
want to do
think
with
it'd be
that
hard to
tooth?
take him out. I mean, I killed a dire wolf with one stroke of my great sword at one point.
You gonna pocket it, eat it in the ground, bring it to people's attention, your choice.
Yeah, you and I
At
are
this
not
point, I
even
think I
remotely
want to bring
worried.
it to their
Yeah.
attention.
Okay, so before we move on,
Yeah.
now would be the time.
Hey guys, did you all happen to look at this tooth?
Oh yeah, the
No,
tooth was
you have no idea what they're talking about. It's a tooth he found in the ground. He just walked over and started playing with something in the
What
dirt
tooth?
while you've been talking.
Over here by the dire wolf that you guys killed, there's a tooth that's just laying on the ground, and I picked it up and started looking at it, and
One fell out.
the tooth seems like the wolves have been
You didn't
dead
get them
for
all.
a while.
Let me see it.
In 233.
I take a look at this.
Go ahead and make an investigation.
I too will investigate.
So
Do an investigation check for after she's done all this.
everybody go ahead and roll if you want to investigate, take a closer look at this thing. Remember, you didn't get all the teeth accurately when you were taking
No,
them.
you're fine.
Remember, you hadn't gotten the whole
16.
set? 16?
14.
11.
Okay, so yeah, you all at this point are very because you're hyper focused on trying to figure out whether or not this person's just blowing smoke or not.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're telling the truth. Everything that Wisp said was accurate.
It looks like it's been dead.
It looks like it was dead for probably long enough to explain that little bit of a twang to the meat.
Yeah.
So almost like a hellhound.
Thank God I didn't eat any of the damn jerky.
Yes.
Vegetarian.
I ate
It's
at least
almost
2
like a
pounds of it.
hellhound.
It's not like, okay, like much like when you cure meat in any other way.
Right.
It was cured. No, it was animated by something. You also notice a like musty, almost fungal smell. It's not like there were no flies, none of the normal decomposition, natural. It was in the woods type thing. It's like it was infected with something that did this.
So almost like a necromancy spell?
Do I need to
Maybe.
make a Constitution saving throw?
No, actually,
Okay.
it's at this point it was at a harmless state.
Well, I ate like 2 pounds of
I almost
that
killed
meat.
you last time.
That's why I looked at you like, do I need to make a Constitution saving throw?
But yeah, you're
So-
pretty sure this is like these wolves seem like they've been dead for a lot longer than when you killed them.
I think we need to pause what we're doing and go investigate this a little more. Because something's just not right.
I think that we should continue on our path towards the town and continue on our mission and pick up evidence along the way. I don't know how much more information we can gain from just this one area and just these 2 wolves. We'd need to travel outside of this area to see how far it goes anyway. So we should continue as we were.
I think we should. Yeah, I don't want to
Okay.
be here any longer
What's
than
your
we have been.
take on this? You're part of this group too at this point.
What do you think?
Well, I think that it's probably better just to leave the dead lie and continue on the journey to see how far it goes.
All right. Then it's decided. On to
Whatever town.
wherever,
Yeah, actually, at this-
wherever the road takes us.
Wherever one.
Avonshire.
Ebonshire.
Avon.
Avon.
Even.
Avon.
Avonshire.
Avben.
Okay. Avonshire.
Sounds like a tasty place.
So, do you guys want to play out the journey and we can find stuff along the way and investigate a little more if we run across anything, or do you want to fast forward?
I think that's up to the DM.
Well, actually, it's kind of a little bit of both. Like, I'm okay with you guys. Would you like to like try and keep your eyes peeled, look for any signs, listen to people as they're walking the trade route throughout the next day and a half as you head to town?
Actually, yes. I mean, if there's anybody along the way to stop and help, broken carts, stuff like that, make conversations with people we see on the road. Also, look for any other sign of diseased animals as we travel.
Yeah.
I'm still
That would be a
curious,
big
so I
thing.
totally agree.
I'm gonna be hunting along the way, so
What's that? Okay, cool. Alright, so, so you do want to do some of the, we are going to do some of the travel work. On through most of this day, early in the morning, like you are at this point, it's probably maybe 9 o'clock. You're on a planet with 36-hour days.
Okay.
So it's about 9 o'clock in the morning,
Alright.
but you get how that would work at that point.
Yeah.
Been up for about 4 hours. And as you're getting up and moving about, so as you all head down, I need, let's see. Who made the last roll last time when you all ran into the wolves?
Ooh, that's a good
I believe
question.
I
have no
was the
idea.
last one
I
to-
believe he
'cause
was the last one to roll because
Because that was
he was
those
the
two
only
were
one
down.
left to kill anybody.
Yeah, those two were down, and I did the final
Okay.
killing blow.
So, let's see here then. You're following them, so you wouldn't be taking the lead on trying to talk to people, do things like that at the first point.
Well, then I'm still kind of trying to keep some of my mysteriousness in there, and just
Yeah.
going up and talking to people isn't gonna fix that.
Yeah, you've noticed that Wisp seems kind of a little standoffish to people. Like, you're up. So, 1 and 2. Yeah, I need you to go ahead and roll a d8.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Three.
Cool. So around about 11 o'clock in the afternoon, as you're like taking your time and scanning the road and everything to see if there's any like evidence of any other struggles and things of that nature, you come across a couple of merchants that are moving slightly slower than you are down the same road. It's a little wider in this area. It looks like you could probably fit like 4, maybe 5 carts if you're really, really comfy with the people across it in this particular part of the valley. Like just this flat piece that you're on looks like it goes for maybe about a quarter mile of the road before it turns again and thins out. As you're kind of running by them, and they seem to be moving a little faster in this section for some reason. Probably because they just have the space to without worrying. And they walk up, or they're riding alongside of you. And what are you doing in the back of the cart while you're driving?
Yep.
I would assume you'd be up front leading the horses and trying to talk to people and such and keep them at a more reasonable pace. Or where would you be?
Actually, I was last time riding in the cart, facing our Tushy side.
So you do see people starting in this area to get a little bigger, and as you get closer to the center of it, what you do notice is that it looks like there's a small marketplace, almost like a roadside bazaar.
Mm-hmm.
Think Arizona desert.
Okay.
Just kind of there along the trade route. Looks like some mediocre goods, mostly food type stuffs, are set up in carts for everybody. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And there, you can smell right around as you're rounding about to lunchtime some very sweet meats cooking and fresh vegetables and fresh fruits. You see like fresh produce vendors and things like that, mostly carrying things that are very juicy and hydrating.
I tap on the side of the wagon. Hey, we should stop here and get some supply.
Very quick, very hard landing.
Again,
Mm-hmm.
acrobatics.
Listen, I came. Acrobatics. 19.
Nice.
And she sticks the landing this time.
you literally, it looks like I'm falling out of the sky, and then all of a sudden, ping. Yes.
Yes. Nicely done. Getting better at that, I think. Anyway, I thought we should stop here, pick up some plums, some peaches, some fresh rations, so we're not going through all our dry stuff super fast.
It does seem to be like a roadside grocery for the most part. You've been on the trade routes for long enough that you're used to seeing these types of things. The food's normally safe. You've picked up work in places like this a couple of times with people who are moving on to the next.
Did they have any fish or quail?
They have dried fish. It's Asian salted dried kippers type fish, things that would keep away from the ocean.
Right.
There are also some people who seem to be frying river fish and lake fish.
Okay. I think at that point I would turn to the group and ask everybody, hey, does anybody want some fish?
Yeah, we should probably replace the jerky that isn't any good.
200 pounds of it.
Actually, it at least seems to have not made anybody sick, so it's not bad. It just tastes a little
I'm not eating it. I'm a vegetarian.
I'm still
And
gonna
now
eat
it's
it.
cured well enough after a day's travel that
I'd still eat it. I'm just I figured you all might want a fresh fish in my treat.
It does sound lovely, but I hold up a big basket of mushrooms. This is about as much meatiness as I typically eat. So I'll just get more vegetables. Yeah,
Okay.
I can actually I buy a basket and I fill it with all manner of fruit and produce,
Okay.
and also a couple of loaves of bread, maybe a jam or a syrup, anything I can find.
Any particular flavors?
Berry flavors. I like berry flavors. Like blackberry or cranberry.
They have a white currant, a blackberry, a
Grab the blackberry for sure. Oh, I'll try the white
and a
currant.
strawberry.
And a strawberry. I'll definitely grab a couple of the strawberries. Strawberry is a very popular flavor.
while looking at the different foods, I am carrying a small bag into which I have deposited claws and teeth that I salvaged while cutting down the animals.
Mm-hmm.
And I am looking to sell and part with them.
You're looking for someone to sell and part with them?
Yes.
Go ahead. Let me see something first. That'll work. Okay, so yeah, go ahead and roll a perception check.
That's 7 again.
Including your bonuses?
Yeah.
Okay, so you look around for a while and you see some it's obvious that like the people who are selling food are here on the side selling food to people who are traveling.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they make their living. There do seem to be some merchants as you spend some time. About how much time would you like to spend looking for a way to sell these?
30, 45 minutes. Like actually spending time talking at each booth and
You find like you see like some things going on, but no.
not this
No.
time.
Doesn't seem like there's any. About the closest thing to anybody you could think to report a bunch of teeth to and hope you get paid for them would be a guard.
No. Tie it back to my belt. Alright. And then I'm gonna take some gold and go buy myself. I'm looking for nuts and berries along with the fish that Wisp provided.
Okay. You said that you were buying, right?
Yep.
The grand whopping total. What were you just gonna take them up on the fish and breakfast
Yeah.
offer?
I'm fine with it, whatever.
Okay. Perfect. So the grand whopping total, and the math works like this: 10 silvers to a gold, 10 coppers to a silver.
Okay.
The whole thing costs you for all of you about 5 silver because you did get the salted fish and salt's expensive. Not sure what it's here. So basically a half a gold piece to cover everybody's
I was gonna
breakfast.
say, yeah, take off 1 gold and then add 5 silver to your account.
Simple number.
Yeah.
And Veridia, you find all sorts of fruits and jams and jellies, and actually some rather nice breads.
Oh, lovely.
Some of them don't even appear to have had an egg wash over the top. You know, to give them that nice golden luster.
Mhm.
No, it looks like they're just actually baked bread with no egg.
Nice. We never calculated my wealth. But I buy as much as I reasonably can without completely emptying my pockets.
It's 2 coppers for a loaf of bread,
Okay.
which means that you get 50 loaves of bread to a gold piece, and you probably have like grand whopping total about 30 gold on you after graduation and everything. Like that would have been in your bag stored in powder, and plus your own savings from work that you've done on the side growing up.
Okay, so I had started with 30 gold.
Yep.
You get 50 loaves for 1 gold.
How about I buy baker's dozen loaves of bread and a bunch of 5 pounds of mushrooms, 5-6 pounds of assortment peaches and plums, and another 5-6 pounds assortment grapes, blackberries, strawberries.
Dried or fresh?
Fresh. But also 2 pounds of raisins.
The whole grand whopping total on things that you go buying for your own grocery and provisioning comes out.
Oh, then the jams and jellies and stuff too.
Yeah, I counted that. You managed to find 2 relatively large, like you said, everybody loves strawberry jelly. Oh, honey?
And some
How much honey?
Big 5-pound bucket of it, if I can.
Oh, well, you can. I just need to make an high time. Right.
The mushrooms,
There you go.
Brussels sprouts, asparagus, green beans, anything like that too.
Yeah,
Turnips, potatoes.
I'm going to find that table because I don't want to underprice it, and the honey is a definite luxury item.
Yeah.
It's okay, you've got 30 gold and you know how to live off of what you find in the woods. So please bear with me while I do the ever so important thing of making sure I'm not wrong on these prices.
In the meantime, I would like to buy a small coin purse's worth of sugar off of you, Alabaster.
Okay.
I'm buying nuts and seeds and berries.
Well, okay, so how much were you looking to spend?
I don't know.
Oh, you remembered right, a loaf of bread is 2
It's
coppers.
about this much. So, half a
Cop-
pound?
Copper, gold, silver.
I can. That's not exactly how it goes. I'm telling you how much of your product I want. How much does your product cost?
That's what I'm saying. Like, you want how much? Half a pound?
Yeah.
Okay. So you said you wanted like 5 pounds of honey, correct?
Yeah.
2 gold? Alright, cool.
That'll be 2.5 silver because I'll do them off of salt weight being a spice.
Okay. Okay.
There's not an actual listing for honey in these books.
Okay.
As soon as I find one, then we'll go that route. But
I bought half a pound
So
of
all
sugar
told,
off of Alabaster.
about a gold's worth of
1 gold, 5 silver for everything that you'd be able
1
to
gold,
get.
5 silver. Okay.
She bought half
really
a
good
pound
job.
of
Okay.
Feywild sugar off of me for 2 gold. Just so you know, that's our prices we came up with.
Okay, cool.
And I am still looking for nuts and seeds and berries.
For the record, you guys do not have to keep me informed of when those kinds of transactions happen. I appreciate it. But if you actually barter between each other for things like the Feywild sugar and all that, that's 100% between you guys.
Yeah. I just
Yeah.
thought it
If
would be
I'm in the
nice.
dark about that, well, then I don't know who's broke and who's not. That's a you problem, done.
Right?
I think I'm gonna be looking around for odds and ends. Just random things you normally wouldn't find in a market.
Like more exotic fruits and vegetables or meats or what?
More exotic items.
This is predominantly a grocery.
Yeah, but I'm saying like looking for trades that have came in or better yet, more. I'm going to be looking for more information on the animals, the dire wolves that were decaying and pretty dead.
You gonna talk to people?
Figure why not? We'll talk to some people.
See if they're... Make a persuasion check.
Okay.
I'm just gonna use it as a bulk roll so that you're not doing this for every NPC.
Come on, buddy. Where you at? Where you are? You said persuasion?
Correct.
Dirty 20.
Wonderful. Alright, so after about maybe 10-15 minutes of walking around saying I found that you'd heard about this wolf attack that had happened and something wasn't quite right about the animals. You come up, somebody directs you off to a kind of almost permanent looking, like it looks like they started to fashion walls out of what deadfall they could find or trade for, or broken carts pieces. It looks like they've actually started building a permanent structure here.
Okay.
And if my timing is right, I think. How does everybody feel about like taking a bio break?
Yeah, actually,
Yeah,
that sounds
it's
good.
about
Maybe a
10 to-
shorter bio break than normal.
We can do that. We're gonna take like a quick 10, 15 at most, and we'll be right back.
Yeah.
Not yet.
We can only use it and then we can try to talk a little bit softer, and the camera will only see the
except for the people
And a
standing
tweaker
right
tried stealing my car stereo, and I caught him and smashed the glass, and so I had to cut the touchscreen out before he broke the glass behind it. You guys about ready?
Because I gotta get up and get things arranged.
You cannot get away with that.
we can see everybody better now. Okay. And then push that out, put that back, and for the most part, we are back.
Maybe I should choose to be an ogre, and that way, it looks better on camera here. Kind of fitting ogre.
No. No, but you don't look like an ogre, you're not green enough.
But I do have layers like an onion.
Aww.
So, as you approach up to this hut, you can hear somebody rustling around through miscellaneous bottles and things, and smell like a lot of tea scents in the air around this hut, and they seem to be working, doors shut, and looks like a makeshift. The top looks like a tent, but the walls have been put together with random pieces of slapboard.
Alright. So can I actually see this person?
Off and on, you can see them moving, and you can tell they're vaguely humanoid, at least. But it's through slats maybe that wide,
Okay.
by boards that are that wide with that much space in between. So.
Okay, I got you. I guess the most appropriate thing to do would be knock.
Coming! They snap. You hear the snap from behind the door. Oh, they open up, and they're hunched over, but they're a little bit shorter than you, maybe.
Okay.
Teeth sticking out from the bottom, relatively old. What do you want?
I proceed to ask them about the dire wolves and explain to them that I've gotten information from other people, and they said that that's who I should talk with.
Oh, yes, those bloody ones. You'll have to excuse me, it's been a long morning. Would you like some tea? You come in. Grabs you by the arm and starts tugging at you to come in, not violently or forcefully, but more of a just come.
Okay.
Like they're trying to hurry you inside so that they can get back to whatever it is the hell that they were doing.
Okay.
And as you go in and you see glass containers that are bubbling over top of small flames, and it looks like there's a few cauldrons with things stewing on different countertops, and all sorts of strange herbs and other things just hanging all over and lining the shelves. So, what is it you need? And they look up for the first time and actually make eye contact with you. Hey, young man, is that correct?
Yes. I respond with yes. At this point, I want to look around to see if there's a possibility of danger or if I should be cautious or leery.
You're very certain that there are about 50 to 60 different poisonous things hanging on the walls. There doesn't seem to be anything poisonous on the cutting boards or in the concoctions they're currently working on. It also looks like there are some other odd, strange things and a few bookshelves that have... It was really hard to tell they were bookshelves at first because there's actually moss growing on the bindings of the books, and it almost just looked like they were keeping plants.
Okay.
You can't read the bindings anymore.
Okay. I guess I would re-ask him my original question of, what does he know about the wolves and the...
Oh yes, the wolves! And goes over and grabs a very large book and slams it down and opens it. Yes, they're quite sick. Why do you ask?
Tell him that we came across some dead ones, and they seemed like they were previously dead days before.
Oh, well, that is a new development. I haven't heard that before. What did it remind you of? What? They were dead before, you said?
The fangs were molded and decayed. They had additional rot.
Do you have any parts, things I can analyze, tools, any evidence?
No.
I need something to look at.
I didn't pick up the Did I actually did wrap up the fang, didn't I?
You did. And I
Okay.
handed it back to you when I was done examining it.
Okay.
And also, she's got stuff that she could help you with too that came off the direwolf. She's got some other teeth and stuff that you can
No, it
use.
was.
Yeah, but,
She's
not-
got a
not
pouch
me.
of it.
yeah, but you guys are still at the
Not me.
market. I kind of wandered off on my own.
That's what I'm saying. You could come and get us and
Oh, yeah.
bring us to where you're at, and we could help you.
Okay.
That's always an option.
I could tell him that I have a fang. Kind of like cautiously give him the fang to investigate.
Perfect. Will you be here long?
Momentarily.
Fine, momentarily.
As long as I need to be.
Okay. Well, this will take a little bit of time. If you go get yourself something to eat and come back, I'll have it for you. I'll know something more. I don't know how much. Is this all you have? And Kendall looks at this and
I can bring more if necessary.
anything would be helpful. And anyone who would have more. Are you the only? Did you deal with this thing yourself?
No.
Do you know who did?
Possibly.
Can you bring them with you? They go back to looking at the thing and aren't even really paying attention to you other than asking questions to get answers they need.
Okay. I think at this point, I let them know I'll be right back. Because they said I could leave to go do whatever.
Yeah.
As I leave, I walk towards the group to find out what the group is getting into and to let them know that I came across somebody who might have information, and it's up to them if we want to go back and give him more evidence to look over.
Well, I think if they might have any information, certainly an exchange of ideas seems warranted. I will gladly join you.
And did they ask anything else? Like, let us know what they said. Kind of explain it to us as if it were
They
them.
asked if there was anyone else who was involved in the killing of the creatures. Basically, if anyone else collected any other things from the creatures.
Coloura, you got a bunch of
You got a bunch of
fangs
teeth
and
and-
claws, didn't you?
I do, and I have some unprocessed organs as well.
Well, that could be very
It would
helpful
be
in fact.
very
Yeah.
helpful if we can get them to wherever he's talking about. Because we don't know
Cross
where
into
he's
the cart
been.
and pull out the uncured but starting to turn both of the hearts of the direwolves.
Okay.
Not very good at turning hearts into. It's not easy to turn hearts into jerky,
And-
so.
If he needs to talk about the person, this is the sword that took them down.
Okay. So we're all in agreement to.
Yeah,
go and
let's
speak
go.
with them?
Let's
Let's
go
go
find
speak
out
with
what we
them.
can.
I put a couple of bits of muscle that I still had, and the hearts and other little bits that I, some sinew and some nerve tissue that I still have. Because Coloura, I use everything when I process an animal.
Yeah.
So I've got nervous tissue and the 2 hearts that I put in and the teeth and all right, very soggy bag.
You.
Yeah, it was right. It's been.
2 days.
And you haven't soaked most of it in salt because you just can't. It would break it down. So, yeah,
Like I said,
there's
it's
flies hovering around the bag, and
Probably a very foul smell too.
actually, yes. And
Uh,
it's drawing far more flies than you would expect after 2 days.
Oh yeah, no, this was stuff I had intended on getting rid of at the next available opportunity.
Well, this is an opportunity.
So I'm putting everything I can't turn into jerky into this bag. That's it.
stack of organs.
At this point, I'd say pretty much everything that's left you probably couldn't turn into jerky safely.
So there's a little bit of muscle that I still had, and
So they package all of this up for you
They actually all agreed to go with me.
and go with you.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we did.
So that was what I was going to ask. So is everybody heading back? And so
Yes.
as you return, the doors again shut, and you hear more rattling and rambling, and what sounds like a grinding noise. Like somebody you running a file across bone, literally.
Okay.
And every now and then, like an almost poof explosion.
Knock on the door again.
Come in. Opens the door. It took you long enough. Come on in.
All right.
This is the most interesting stuff. Oh, what is that horrid smell?
We got
The
more.
evidence you requested.
Oh, perfect. It's still gooey.
It's only 2 days old. At least since I killed him. He killed it, and I cleaned it.
So, just set it down over there. And I point to a low-lying, what would look like, if you have ever been to a bus station, the scale for weighing your baggage. It looks like one of those. And this sloppy, sopping noise happens as it hits the thing, and you notice that the blood goes like 1980s little kid slime that you got for 25 cents out of the vending machine. Off
Can
the edge.
coagulate.
Not even coagulate, it just
It's like
sludge.
Yeah.
Ew.
It moves like very fast moving pine sap.
Yes.
And
Oh, good. It flops around like jelly.
it has an almost amber color to it as the light glints off of it in the room.
Yep.
Interesting. Infection.
So they walk up, and they open up the bag after putting on a very long set of very strange looking gloves. They go up to under the armpit.
Okay.
They reach down in and they pull out the heart, and it's mottled with green and purple. It looks almost moldy after having been in the bag, and maybe. And they throw it in a cauldron, and the strange smoke starts rising out of an almost red pink glow to it as it starts wisping across the room. And all you can hear is, interesting. And they just sit there staring at it for a while, almost as if they're watching something.
Okay.
What are you all doing as you watch this scene as they're just kind of...
I'm watching them and
Yeah.
also examining the goo.
Yeah, I'm kind of just observing everything and taking it in as.
I'm pulling bones out of my regular satchel. Do these do that?
Disney looks up, grabs one, goes over to a shelf, pulls down a couple of different flasks of oddly colored or clear liquids, pours two of them into another glass object, and it turns a blue-green color. They were clear liquids, and blue-green. And the bone, they take a hammer and break the bone and drop the parts in there. And you watch as it starts bubbling and fizzing like fireworks almost. Think, here, this'll keep you occupied. And so,
And I'm gonna roll for it. I'm gonna see how occupied I am. Very. I rolled an 8 to avoid getting completely distracted.
you could be there for a while.
I would say I would probably at this point be investigating the containers that he has over the flames and just kind of looking around, trying to get a closer look. Not necessarily touching, but trying to get a closer look at what's in the room.
You actually, you recognize the smell from the events that followed your journey and kicked off the way that your life has become in the recent year or so.
Okay.
We will say that you're very heavily reminded of that night when you made that deal.
Okay.
That smell is that weird smell is in the back of it fills your nostrils like it did when that happened.
Yeah.
As you
Feels
look,
like a not so friendly reminder.
yeah, it's in there, and it reminds you're very familiar with that smell, and it does, like you said, make you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Not debilitatingly, but you're like,
Hackles are up.
yeah. It's up to you whether or not
I
they can
want
see.
to roll.
Yeah.
Like, can I roll a nature check to also see while he's examining this? I'm watching him, but I'm also more watching the guts and so forth on the table.
See what they're doing.
Mostly I'm observing this state of decay and sickness.
Are you looking for any tools around the place to do this with? How would you like to set yourself up to investigate this? You're obviously in somebody's full-fledged laboratory they've managed to cobble together out here in the middle of nowhere.
Actually, I'm just gonna watch them because they're doing the cutting and so on and so forth. I'm just gonna use it with a magnifying glass.
Alright. So, go ahead and roll.
Alright, out of character, the way that you describe it, all I can think of is the old man's hut from Neverending Story. Just
I'm cool with that. That was a kind of cool little hut now that you mention it. I completely forgot
Dirty
about that.
20.
Perfect. So, as you're watching what they're doing, every time that they separate some of the muscle tissue from the fat, because they're actually taking any like leftover fats off, and
Mm-hmm.
with the magnifying glasses, you're going over the surface. You notice what looks like almost micro-sized mushrooms.
So it is a fungal infection.
Even with all the different people you've studied with in the course of your education, these ones aren't like anything that you've even heard some of the most venerated members talk about.
I asked one of the people processing this stuff, do you have any Circle of Spores druids in the area?
What?
You know, mushroom druids.
No, I don't rightly think we do.
Do you mind if I just take a little bone here? And I pick up just a small piece of bone.
No bother, go ahead.
I carefully wrap it in a piece of burlap. I carefully wrap this piece of bone in a piece of burlap and I put it in my bag.
Wrap it up and it's relatively securely. I mean, y'all are in the middle of nowhere. It would be very hard for you to find a circle of anything druid where you are.
Yeah.
Alright, so as not to forget, getting back to Anaya, he wanders across the room and he picks up what any one of you who has any spellcasting ability would recognize as powdered silver,
okay.
and throws it into the sparkling, bubbling concoction that he's already created in front of Coloura.
Alright.
And it turns into and mutters some words, and it starts doing this strange thing where it creates a moving picture that'll loop for about 5 minutes at a time.
Nice. Well, I rolled a 2 to avoid hyperfixation.
Perfect. And what are you doing as you're watching all this go down?
So I kind of want to take my focus off of what the person's doing.
Mhm.
I kind of want to do an investigation check just to see if I can find anything in the hut that might tell us anything that we haven't already figured out. Just a small investigation check, just see if I can look around and find anything.
Okay, so go ahead and roll investigation.
Nat 1 plus investigation. Yeah, nat 1. So I didn't find anything.
Oh, no, you didn't find anything. Matter of fact, you get down there and you're starting to wonder whether or not the effect, like, as you're looking around, you look up just in time to see what to your eyes looks like genies, like jinns, female genies forming out of the smoke over top of the beaker that Coloura's watching, and it catches your eye as they start belly dancing.
So I'm just focused on something over there, and I'm
You
just
want
like,
look a kitty moment.
like squirrel.
Exactly.
I resemble that remark.
Yes, you do.
Yes, you did.
Especially the kitty moment.
Well, no, what I meant is like most dogs, like dogs will be doing something, and then all of a sudden it's squirrel.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
going back to what I'm
totally.
doing.
Attention deficit ooh shiny.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like instead of Ushani, it's squirrel.
So, these two are completely lost and oblivious at this point. Yeah. And that brings us, and this guy, he just keeps on analyzing things. And what are you doing as you've seen all of this go down throughout the entirety?
I am actually really curious, trying to figure out, what kind of magic this person is into. What type of magic whether it be like arcane or if it's just alchemy or exactly what is going on.
Well, go ahead and roll an Arcana check.
Damn bouncy bastard. Crap. 16.
Nice. So from what you can tell, they're using some alchemy, and they're definitely some kind of a mage.
Okay.
They're actually competently analyzing things and waiting for reactions. There's a couple times you see them actually look at a watch or a pocket watch and time things while they're happening, or flip hourglass, or flip like minute egg timers and things of that nature.
Just checking for chemical reactions and actually doing like actual analysis.
Yes, they're actually doing what they said they would do. They're not trying to screw you off or anything like that. You know that much.
Okay.
On top of that, you notice that while that is what they're doing, there are about 4 or 5 procedures that they're doing that just seem a little bit odd. And you notice in one particular case, it seems like some of the blood that they collected that was still reddish instead of turning into that almost
Amber
orange,
coagulate?
almost amber color, has been dropped in this liquid, and it looks like it's solidified into a crystal upon hitting it.
Okay.
And it's just floating suspended in it, almost as if it were in like a ballistics gel.
Okay.
And it's illuminating the gel or the liquid like that. The liquid still slushes, it just holds it in place like a ballistics gel, if that makes
Okay.
any sense.
Yeah, so it's just kind of like floating, almost like a floating gemstone in the middle of the.
Yeah, like it's stuck in space, but the liquid around it can move freely as it normally would.
Okay.
It just doesn't want to move from the center of that for some reason.
Okay. I would probably ask him what kind of test that is because I've never seen anything like it.
He just looks at you. Oh, well, I was trying to decide if the blood had, you're not going to believe this, but mushrooms in it. So, that right there is a super substrate growth formula for the fibery part of the start of a mushroom.
Okay.
The reason it doesn't slosh around like that is because the crystallized blood has millions of microfibers in between the liquid that are keeping it held in place.
Okay.
At this point, they pick it up and empty it out, and you can indeed see what are, once there's no liquid to make them more translucent,
Yeah.
actual little white fibers that look almost like an overly ornate black widow's web,
Okay.
extending all the way off of this. You know you've only been standing in this hut for maybe 20 minutes at this point.
Right.
So in 20 minutes time, a drop of blood that was no bigger than a quarter
Okay.
created that much of a reaction inside of this liquid. So either that liquid's really potent stuff, or this is a really fast growing fungus of some sort.
Okay. Where should dump it?
Dumped the liquid itself
Yeah.
down a drain that goes to parts unknown.
Okay.
You did
I
hear a kind of incinerator sound though, and see a strange light at the bottom of the piping.
okay.
This doesn't bode well. Now, and you say you haven't seen this before?
Oh, no.
Would you like to examine the sword that took the final blow?
Well, I'm sure. Well, you've cleaned it, haven't you?
Oh, I don't think I've had time to clean it yet.
Well,
We
then,
can't.
Yeah, but I went to bed almost directly after all of that. And then I woke up and had to deal with him.
Put
Only
fire-
been-
Out of character, you lose your swordsmanship card. Give it back.
Normally I would have cleaned it by now, but I've been busy this last day or so.
Character, be right back. Bye, Bert.
okay. So as you're like getting yourself pulled together and everything, as you're literally pulling yourself together from all of this, like, no, you haven't cleaned it. Well, you should clean it. That's the important part at this point. Wouldn't want to accidentally hit something with that and have it get into that.
That's a good point.
The question is, how did they get it into them?
That's what I think, maybe I could use it to poison an enemy, but not clean.
And if you nicked yourself,
Well, why would I nick myself? It's my sword. I know how to use it. I'll clean it, don't worry. Have fun and no games.
maybe a bird brain who's totally hyperfixated on this, but the idea of one of us getting nicked by that just
I won't nick myself. Well, they're not worried about you nicking yourself. To be fair. Veridia, anything that you would like to be doing at this moment?
No, actually, I go back out to wander the grocery again and see if I can find anything else tasty. I do purchase a small bushel of apples for the horses and some carrots also.
Okay. Call that a whole whopping 3 silvers.
3 silver? Okay.
Yeah, that'd be a bushel of apples and a bushel
And
of
after I've
carrots.
given each of the horses an apple, I just go ahead and climb up into the back of the cart and myself start munching on a piece of bread and an apple.
Okay. That works.
I'm gonna go clean my sword since people are so worried about it.
the sass with this one.
And what about you? The chemical reaction has died at this point.
Probably staring at it, pouting.
Walks over, dumps the liquid down. This time you hear you see the same light up and you hear a blood-curdling scream and what sounds like an angry voice. But you're not sure what the language was.
I turn and see what I can see up the street.
Nothing. It's just a busy street. What we're talking about is where Coloura was watching that beaker. The little The wizard went and dumped it down that same drain. This time there was a blood-curdling scream as the liquid dropped down
Yeah, I
the
heard it.
drain.
That's why I came back.
And some swearing, and then it goes back, and then you watch as it goes dark in the drain again, and they sit up. Oh, that was entertaining, now wasn't it?
I go back to munching on a apple, some bread,
So,
maybe some raisins.
anything else you would like to do in this building?
Possibly see if I can get a vial of this microbial growth serum that he has.
What do you need it for?
Further testing.
Well, I don't think it would hurt. How much do you need?
The vial.
Walks over, gets a vial, roughly about as big round as his thumb, so about
Alright.
about yay long. Dips it into this soupy, almost bioluminescent blue liquid,
Okay.
and puts a cork on it, a glass cork on it, and it fastens itself down with metal and goes, "Here you go. Don't pour it on your feet."
Okay. Alright. I guess that's a good reasoning.
It's how I got this stuff. I was trying to, you're going to think I'm a crazy old coot. I was trying to find a way to get rid of body fungus. Specifically. I couldn't get the mushroom caps to stop growing out from underneath my toenails for 6 months. Full-sized mushrooms. Right out of my toes from that stuff. It was supposed to do the other thing. Wonderful for figuring out some odd things, though. I've only got 40 gallons of it left, and then I'll never have to look at it again.
Alright.
So are we ready to...
As you step back out, you see Veridia eating apples and bread on the back of the cart. Would you be drinking as well? Just like normal watered wine, you know, the stuff to make the water be pure?
Me?
Yes.
I'm drinking some apple juice. I picked it up at the apple stand.
Fair. And are you heading out with everybody, or any more questions for them?
At this point, he's kind of answered most of my questions. If they're heading out, I'm going to go ahead and head out.
As you all are walking away, or as you're walking away, if you find any more, come back, I'll pay you.
Okay.
I wave.
Kind of half-heartedly cocks his head to the side and goes,
That's a bit creepy.
I have a
Like,
whole lot of meat.
not really, they look like they're not sure how to take that overly exuberant wave. They're kind of like, I think.
I have a whole lot of jerky that was made with the meat from these animals.
Oh, no, thank you, I'm not hungry.
So who we all get loaded up into the wagon?
Yes, and
Yes.
which direction are you headed at this point? Further down the road?
Yeah, we're gonna go further down towards the next town still.
Yeah, we're still headed in that same direction.
I will be.
So after about another half a day's travel, like we discussed, you really don't run into much else beyond that market. But what you do come upon is a very large gate across the door with stone up the sides and a crude wooden gate, but relatively nice stone wall.
Okay.
And 2 guards standing in front of it. And beyond the grating, even though it's wooden grating, it's like I-beams that are riveted into cross pieces, you know, so that it looks like
Yeah.
steel grate. You there? What you got?
Trade goods.
Trade goods, you say?
Aye. Sugar, produce.
Ain't got none sick with you, have you?
Nope.
None of us are sick. Do we look sick to you?
What about your horses?
Well, the horses are fine. You're welcome to take a look at them if you like.
And you, we don't see your kind around here much.
I don't come around much.
Now, there's no need for that. He's with us.
Oh, that's just fun. I'm just saying, it's very rare we see them cat people up this direction.
They're called tabaxi.
It is at this point that I make another rough landing.
Roll acrobatics.
$23.
You kind of come in a flurry of spinning feathers, trying to be fancy about it this time, and for some strange reason, your claws grip just right. So it's a 3 1/4 turn stop, and you aren't even dizzy.
Hey, you're really getting the hang of that.
I'm much better outside of the city.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, nothing like that to crash through.
Oh no, my first entrance was crashing into a marketplace.
That sounds awful.
So they look at you and, well, see your kind a lot more. But with the airship trade and all, you know, I mean, that'll get you to Evermist, and from there, it's not that far to this place. I mean, Umberley isn't exactly the hottest town on earth, or on Nox to find now, is it?
I've been here before.
Yeah, have you?
We walked back down the road that I was coming to Evermist from.
We were
This is
flying.
If this is the next town, this would have been the last
Yeah.
place I was.
Yeah, you do look kind of familiar.
Are you done looking my friends up and down like they're commodities?
Oh, I ain't done looking any of you up and down yet. What you got? Let me inspect your goods. We gotta make sure ain't nothing wrong.
I pull the burlap off the Feywild of sugar and the trade goods we've bought and brought with us.
Right. Looks good. No weapons.
Of course
You're
we have
sure
weapons.
that meat's alright?
I've been eating it for 2 days. I'm good. I made that landing, didn't I?
Yeah, it seems you caused far less damages on that landing than you did the first one into town.
I don't do well landing in small spaces.
We're not here to trade the meat. We're here to
But
trade
my
the
ass,
sugar.
we're not.
Nobody else is going to want to eat that.
Well, then I will eat it in front of them.
And you're welcome to do so, my dear. Just trust me. We're not going to trade that meat. Wouldn't risk it.
Well, so they as the doors creak open, you see they roll them up like old steel grating that drops on a portcullis, and it opens up into a very, very poorly cobbled street. Basically, people put a bunch of stones down to try and make it a little harder than walking on mud. And they've turned that into the streets of this place. Umberley is much smaller than what you're used to. You could call it more of a settlement than a town, really.
Mhm.
So like they might have a general store that would keep basic provisions and things of that nature. A small market with a few people who would be up for trades, but mostly like traveling merchants passing through looking to resupply or even trade up some of their goods for betters. And like one tavern / inn thing.
Alright. Alabaster, we should find a place to stable the horses for the night, find a room at the inn, and settle in. For the evening, we can talk to the locals and do more trade in the morning.
I agree.
So, well, I guess you're driving.
Yeah. So.
You're like relatively right in front of the gates, or inside, just inside the gates. There's give or take a 20 stall stable.
Okay.
I mean, this is someplace along a trade route, so they would have enough stabling for a relatively reasonable amount of horses, wagons, and things of that nature. They want you to come back. And it's about maybe 3:30 in the afternoon by the time you get the horses parked. And you notice people are eyeballing all of you. I mean, you are a rather odd-looking group. They keep actually staring at you.
Me?
Yeah. Every now and then you hear some sort of new tiefling. And these horns. I've never seen an elf with horns before. And it's all like very whispered and hushed. Like they're not trying to like blatantly like, oh my god, look, that elf has horns. But they're like,
I walk up to the bar, I kind of ignore them at first. And I order an ale. Barkeep, an ale for me and my friends. And then I
so
turn
how
around.
many will that be?
4.
Right.
And then I turn around and I look at the room. They're antlers. And I turn back to the bar.
Oh, the poor dear. You hear somebody whisper off in the background. Think they're real, or did she take them off of her, dear? I don't know. Maybe she is a deer. Maybe she's one of those mystical deer.
When the ales come, I grab them, 2 in each hand. I turn around, and I'm kind of standing there, like, in my druid's robes. I find a table over in the corner, so far in the corner that we're hidden away. I walk the beers over, put them on the table. I sit, and I drink my beer.
Something seems to be bothering Veridia.
Well, they're probably staring at me too, considering I'm pale gray with black hair, green eyes, and
You could technically pass for a drow in pigmentation, and if your hair's long enough, they wouldn't notice your ears. And
In my case, I already know they're staring me down. Tabaxi,
yeah, I think
bigger than most.
for once, you can pretty much. You're not being looked at funny for how you look. They're kind of confused because.
Wearing a half skull on my head, People are definitely.
When you stop to think about it, even in all the time you've been going back and forth to the village, you haven't actually seen another elf with antlers.
so just to piss people off, I walk out and I walk in as a male version of her. They want to stare, let them stare.
Can I roll a perception because I know my friend and I can see what he's done here, or am
Would they
I
be
as just
too?
shocked as everybody else?
Okay, so I was gonna let that just happen and get the crowd because they wouldn't know much better.
Right.
But because of the fact that you asked that, I need you to roll performance.
Can I roll perception?
That's
You'll be able to roll perception against his performance. Response to it goes off your charisma, so.
I'm
Okay,
paying more
charisma
attention
check.
to the people talking about Veridia.
15.
15.
Nice.
Including your bonuses, right?
Well, I rolled an 18. That's passive perception.
No, that's straight out perception.
That's active perception. 18 plus 5, so 23.
She gets you.
I mean, she's not going to be hitting on you.
So as
But
you
I
actually, you're
I look up at my beer. I see a male wood elf.
that
walk
looks in
again
many ways
that
like
has-
you.
Yeah, that also has antlers. And for just a minute, I'm like, and then I'm like,
Well,
I just sip my beer.
I don't know if they would know because I didn't change my clothing. I just changed my physical appearance. I didn't change
Your
my
clothing
clothing.
changes automatically as it changes.
However you want it to.
Yeah.
Let's just say I didn't want it to. I want it to be my clothing, but I want to look like her. That way my friends kind
Yeah,
of
they're wearing Alabaster's clothes, but you watch them walk out gray and come back in looking like if Veridia were a man.
Okay.
Literally.
Okay.
Slightly taller.
Has the same scent.
I just kind of,
Yep.
giggle as I keep drinking my beer.
So how's the crowd reacting?
They're- Hey. Look at that. I think there's something special going on. That's two of them.
I just kind of ignore them
And it's a
and
tabaxi and one of them bird folk.
when I'm done with my beer, I walk back up to the bar to order another round. And I ask the barkeep, hey, where do your druids camp?
All druids. If we have anything, we just normally send to Evermist.
You have no druids of your own down here.
No, every now and then, people travel through all the time. We don't normally go more than a day or two without somebody here that can help.
Are there any other druids in town at the moment?
Well, let me think. Well, right to my recollection, there's this weird star-eyed elf all dressed like one of your clothes.
From my order?
The marks were different, like on the clothes, but like they had stars in their eyes. And they were very, very not here. If that makes any sense.
Sure. Where's this druid staying?
Oh. Not rightly sure.
When did you last see him?
Yesterday?
Thank you. Is this the best place to rent a room?
Oh, it's the only place to rent a room, so I suppose that make it the best, yeah?
I like that answer.
Large room for me and my friends.
Alright, well, how many of you will be in there?
4.
Any, extracurricular, things?
Nothing hanky-panky. We're respectable traders.
No, nothing like that. I'm making sure you ain't got any, exotic animals for the like.
No, nothing exotic.
Oh, good. I had this one guy. He snuck in he snuck in a full-grown dire tiger
That was terribly inconsiderate, and I
in a bag of holding. It was half suffocated when he opened it, and then he wondered why it mauled him. We could hear him screaming all the way downstairs. And then there I go, having to clean it up. That's how I got this one right here. And they reach back and they start pulling up their shirt, and you're very sure you don't want to see that.
Yeah. No. I believe
And
you.
I am like,
Life must be hard as a tavern keep from time to time.
You have no idea.
did it bite your ass?
Well, starts crying. That's why I only got one cheek and runs off into the back crying.
Oh.
then I walk up and I get his attention. And I say, "Excuse my friend," and I hand him 1 silver.
Thank you, but I won't bring back me bum.
No, come here.
They actually go run off.
Straight
and-
starts disrobing.
No, they like completely take off, don't even pay attention, and go hide from you at this point, mortified.
Look at what you have done.
I just wanted to show him where I got bit by that snake on my butt cheek. I feel the whole bald spot. Do you want to see?
No, I'm good.
At this point, I'm just glad I got fur.
I'm fine feathered, but there's some spots.
Can't see my marks.
Most of them, anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Most of them, anyway.
So, as you
Besides, women think battle's part of section.
manage to go and land yourself a room for about 7 silvers for the evening. It does have enough beds for everybody, and it looks like it could actually keep 2 more.
Interesting.
Like, there's a possibility of there being a... It's almost like these rooms were set up for larger groups than what yours is. But it's the biggest room it's the biggest one we've got, and the only one we've got that's open and big enough for all of these. Unless you want to
That's
have
fine.
more than one room, and I can arrange that easier.
That's fine, my friend. What's the charge?
That'll be 7 silvers for the night. No pets, no creatures, right?
No pets, no creatures. I reach into my pocket and I hand him a gold because I have 5 silvers. No, I'm sorry, I have 2 silvers.
I'll throw in 5.
I'll throw in
I
a
got.
silver.
I got.
Okay, so I will hold out 2 silver.
And I throw in another 5 on top of that.
I'll throw in 5.
Well, that's more
We
than
only need 7.
I know. It's a tip.
Oh, okay. So I hand him the silver.
They paid extra with adding a C in the room. Oh. Y'all need anything, let me know. And they wander off, and they come back a few minutes later with a key. It's a standard skeleton key. Nothing really elaborate about it for a relatively simple lock. It's a small area. If somebody robbed you, everybody know who did. So you get your lodgings, and it gets on into the evening, and you hear as the downstairs starts picking up with bards playing music and the smells of dinner on the air. And what would everybody like to do with their evening?
Well, actually, I am going to go back down the stairs. Now that we've rented the room, I'm gonna put my my backpack down and all of that. I'm gonna grab my charcoal and my sketch pad, and I'm gonna go back downstairs, and I'm just gonna start sketching people and things that I see. Also, my artisan's tools, I took the cartography set, so I'm going to also map the journey thus far.
Okay. So,
Keeping my journal of the day's events, sitting by the fire, have a couple more ales, then I go to bed.
what about the rest of you?
I want to go look for training grounds, and I want to train a little bit with my great sword.
If you were looking for space to train, what you would actually find would be out towards out back of the stables where they have a lot of larger hay bales. There are places that are swept clean and would generally have hay or straw on the ground that would keep too much of the mud from gumming up your boots so that you could go through and practice. Other than that, for more physical exercise, push-ups, pull-ups, etc., the barn is about what they can offer you here.
I want something that I could just train with my swords
Just out back of the barn would be fine with plenty of space. You'd probably get a couple of onlookers just watching what you're doing, unless you wanted to make a public display of it and do it out front.
Nah, I don't need to show off yet.
Fair. So you're going to train, and you're drawing the people in the tavern, and what are you
Also
doing?
the tavern itself.
Well,
Everything.
I was thinking I could play a few games, but the town doesn't seem like it would have enough money to sustain my attention.
I'll make a
So-
perception check. Let's see if there's anybody out and about tonight.
Alright.
There's always a possibility. You never can tell, and I haven't decided yet.
15.
15?
Or no. 18.
18? Looking around, yeah, your initial thoughts are pretty accurate. I mean, there's a couple people who look like they might have a deep purse, but they don't look exactly like the type that got that deep purse through the. They look like they got it through their wits, so to speak. You know, like they really had to work for it, and not just physical labor. So they look kind of scrawny.
So I think based off of that, I'm gonna go outside and watch Alabaster train.
Try and see if you can pick up anything that would work for what your preferences are.
Combination of that and to see what competition would be.
Okay. That'll work.
I'm going for a nice long, preferably through dark back alleys walk. I've got my armor on and I've taken one of my hatchets and my whip.
There are 3 back alleys. There are 3 alleys and 5 streets to the whole township.
I'm walking it in circles.
So you're basically what, patrolling?
No, I'm not paying attention to much of anything.
You
Just
occasionally
walking.
run across the stray rat, dog, a couple of little fluffy things of like hoofs of fluff from plants, like milkweed bowls and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's a pretty quiet night. It's actually kind of uncommonly warm compared to where you came from. You made it 25 miles this way, but you made it about 1,500 feet down the valley.
Yep.
So we all know how that goes. Oh, what time is it?
It is 6:35.
Cool. I just figured out, so we should probably start getting towards that.
I wouldn't even mind wrapping up a little early tonight.
Yeah, because you gotta get up a bit. Is everybody cool with kind of like wrapping things in a bit early?
I don't know what the difference between early and late is, so sure.
Well, early is now late regular times in about 20 minutes.
In about an hour. 7:30.
7 to 7:30, somewhere around there.
Yeah, so we either got about half hour, 45 minutes left, or we could wrap up now.
It's up to you guys.
I'm okay with wrapping up now. I think we're at a good end.
We are at a good stopping point on this leg, and you all have actually learned a lot of the story.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
just out in the middle of nowhere right now. Right?
Yeah, just-
Well, we're in a small town.
Yeah, but I'm saying like
Yeah.
we're not out in the middle of nowhere, you know.
No, we're in a good
Population equivalent to like Redway, California.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
Okay. So, yeah, I think we're at a good stopping point for the day.
Sounds like the plan.
So, I'd assume everybody's bedding down. Your dinner, yes, you were able to procure something that was actually vegetarian. So it was a nice turnip and root stew with a flour thickened broth.
Okay.
So almost a gruel, but spiced well and tasting good.
Okay. After I'm done with that, I go up to my room and I do my meditations. I use my focus.
And you?
I eventually make my way back up to the room and find a spot to just kind of.
And I go up to the room and I have a little bit of the extra food that we've had with us the last couple of days, and I eat a little meal and go to bed after training.
Are you going to follow them upstairs?
Yeah, I
with
figure I'll go ahead and follow them upstairs. But before I go to bed, I actually want to do like a quick look around of the room, make sure that there's nothing I have to worry about just because of how I came to be.
You? Seems about as secure as you could expect from a place this big that you paid 7 silvers for. It's reasonably, slightly below moderate conditions, but not a bad room.
Okay.
There's no bugs in the mattresses or anything like that. You were treated worse growing up at times.
Yeah, I was thinking more like, would I have to worry about anything in my sleep? Like a trapdoor popping open and somebody coming in.
No, it's a wooden box with a roof on it to keep people warm and dry.
Oh, well, I'm good. So yeah, I go to bed.
They're an honest business.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yes, but that will end us for this evening. And yes, please do not forget to like, subscribe, comment, ask questions, be social, be nice to each other.
We are working on getting on there and answering everybody's questions on YouTube as they come in. And
Actually, be nice to each other actually made me think of Bill and Ted.
Yes, be excellent to one another.
Be excellent to one another. And beyond that,
As always, live long and prosper.
And that is
See, I was gonna say love.